you for coming today. I really appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday to come and hear about our cultural change initiatives. My name is Jen Miller, and I'm resident principal at Maple Street School in Rockville. We are a pre-K to 5 school with about 310 students in an Alliance district. 100% of our students receive free breakfast and lunch every day. Our staff works very hard to meet the needs of all of our students, and as you'll see from the data, we need to make an effect on our culture that will positively impact student achievement. So when I first started at Maple Street this fall, I wanted to know what the current culture and climate was. To do that, I completed culture and climate assessments at the school to look for some trends over several years' worth of data, as well as take some snapshots of where are we now. So here's some of the information that I found. Over a 3-year period, due to teacher turnover, you can see that there was a 16% decrease in the number of years of experience of our staff, and a 6% decrease in the number of master's degrees. I wondered how this affected the instructional knowledge of our staff. And then in the fall, when students had completed the district assessments, I was able to see where are we now in terms of student achievement. According to our district assessments, only 27% of our students were meeting the grade level expectation, 23% in writing, and 15% in math. Many teachers told me as I spoke with them that they believed we needed to bring in some experts from the outside to tell us what to do. How are we going to tackle this problem? This really confirms some other evidence that I found. In the previous year's survey, only a small minority of teachers said that there were professional learning opportunities in Vernon. Clearly, there was an urgency for improvement. So, while I was new to Maple Street School, I wasn't new to the district. I'd been in Vernon for 8 years, and some of what I was hearing contradicted what I'd seen. The teachers really wanted some external experts to come in, and that was their view of professional learning. A few had mentioned some useful in-district workshops, but it pretty much ended there. And so I wondered, where was the professional learning in staff meetings, grade level meetings? We even had instructional coaches. Perhaps the teachers participated in some of these opportunities, but maybe only with commitment, or compliance, not commitment. Or perhaps they were of poor quality. Or maybe there was no time for reflection to bring that new learning to light. So since culture is rooted in beliefs, I began to culture this core belief of the staff. I wanted to make their definition of professional learning expanded. So take it from the narrow and grow that idea of professional learning. In my work at UConn, I read an article by Mike Schmoker. And here's a quote from that article. Schools with strong professional learning communities were 4 times more likely to be improving academically than schools with weaker professional communities. We can no longer afford to be innocent of the fact that collaboration improves performance. Based on the data, I knew strong professional learning communities would need to be part of our school culture for sustained improvement to take place. From here, I created a theory of action and simply stated, if teachers participate in collaborative professional learning communities, then they will increase their knowledge of high-quality instruction and student achievement will increase. Originally, I thought I wanted the staff's definition of professional learning to be expanded, but after I put some more thought into it, I realized that what I truly wanted was teachers' knowledge of high-quality instruction to increase, so that they would then do something different in the classroom. So that original goal of expanding their definition of professional learning perhaps is really an indicator of change, of success, not the ultimate goal. From here, I decided to sketch out a process of change. I thought about a quote from Michael Fullan, and he said, "Changes in attitudes, beliefs, and understandings tend to follow rather than precede changes in behavior." So taking this advice, I looked for opportunities to change behaviors. Teachers would need to have an experience to affect the culture. Our school improvement plan listed instructional rounds. And as we met with our building leadership team, they came to us with some resistance. They said, we don't want to do instructional rounds, it's evaluative, it's useless, it's just something to satisfy central office. So we talked about it with them, and we thought about even changing it to peer observations, as this seemed a little bit more palatable to them. But in the end, we decided to stick with instructional rounds because it was on the district improvement plan, so at our school, we should stay in line with that. From here, I wondered, if we're going to do it, what can instructional rounds do for us? Would this be the experience that would make the difference for teachers? So from there, I set out to create an experience where the conditions would be different. The teachers would go through a process that they hadn't been through before. Truly collaboration. From there, the teachers would need to reflect on the process. This would be an important component where new learning could be brought to the forefront. This way, teachers could intentionally make changes in their classroom. And throughout the process, I would continuously monitor and look for change. So to start with, my mentor principal and I pulled together a core group of teachers. We decided to choose teachers that were eager and enthusiastic. We wanted to build some momentum for the initiative going forward. And we worked together. I created this perception survey, which I thought would help me collect evidence of change along the way. But what I found right away was this wasn't going to yield the evidence I was looking for. The teachers mostly all rated themselves 4s. So I realized that this wasn't going to show change over time. However, it did yield some great conversation, and we talked about a lot of these belief statements, and that helped us build a shared understanding and a shared vision. So from there, as a group, we created some group norms and process norms. During that time, we really put the ownership in the teachers' hands. So sometimes it felt a little awkward. The teachers would look to myself or the mentor principal for some guidance or approval, but we remained quiet. This was not our experience, it was theirs. The group read and discussed Richard Elmore's Improving the Instructional Core. They engaged in some meaningful discourse and eventually shared this research with the staff. This helped us develop our problem of practice, which was tasks need to be of a higher level to increase student achievement. So we know Richard Elmore said the task predicts performance. So from here, we said teachers will implement changes to their practice in order to plan and engage in meaningful and rigorous tasks. In December, we held our first instructional rounds. Teachers observed their peers and collected data. Using Webb's depth of knowledge, they classified the tasks that they had observed into the 4 levels. What we hope to see over time was a shift from mostly level 1 and 2 to more 2s and 3s and maybe even some 4s in the classroom. They debated with each other and they had some great conversations, and they even looked for more research and more information as they were challenged to do this work. As I said before, I continually monitored looking for evidence of change, whether it was talking to people, making note of observations, or looking at some quantitative data. At the end of each session, one piece of evidence was a reflection form that the teachers completed. The reflection form asked questions about their experience and about their learning. Many teachers noted that the best part was those conversations where they were working collaboratively as a group to classify and sort the tasks. They felt that that really deepened their understanding of the instructional core. We also collected data on our problem of practice, so we wanted to see a change in the kind of tasks that were happening in the classroom. You can see that in December, we had 30% of tasks at the level 2 and 3 of Webb's depth of knowledge. In January, that changed to 75%. And then in March, we had 59%. So while it's not a level trend line, you can see that the number of higher level tasks is increasing each time we go into instructional rounds. And then the last bit of data that I looked at was student achievement. So that was our original intent, was to impact student achievement. You can see that with our district benchmarks over time, we are closing the gap. We had a 26% increase in reading, so we went from 27 to 53% of students meeting grade level expectations. I have a video here that I'm going to show you. I wanted you to hear directly from some of our teachers how they feel about professional learning. A group of first grade teachers came to me and my mentor principal and asked us if they could do peer observations. They had some questions about their guided reading block and higher order questioning. This was something that wasn't happening before in the school, and I didn't even realize it until I was retelling the story to one of my colleagues. But this is evidence of change, so I'm going to play a quick video clip for you.
Your observations is definitely about learning, not evaluations.
We evaluate it, but very honestly, they are a bit intimidating. Even though we're colleagues and we're friends and we spend time together, we want to make sure that we're doing our very best at all times. And when someone comes in with a clipboard, you really want to make sure you're on target, and that's the truth.
Okay, this year I asked to watch my first grade team to see how guided reading was working out in their classrooms, because I was struggling with applying the guided reading block, the lesson within the guided reading block. So I wanted to kind of see if I had, if the other teachers were having those issues as well, and some of the, if they can give me some pointers as to how I can better my teaching.
And also, peers come to watch me, I'm thinking, oh, what can I show them, what can I teach them?
So I felt comfortable doing an peer observation because I feel like there's more value. The value outweighs being a little tentative on it. So again, just learning from my staff, the staff that is here, and what they have to offer, and taking little pieces of what works for them can work for me, and we might be able to work together.
It was very beneficial to me. I've learned a lot from my peers.
My thoughts on professional learning are that when we started teaching, we did workshops, and we went to the workshops, and now, if there's anything that I want to learn about, I go on the web, I take the initiative. So I go and look for my colleagues. That's the best part, is I go find someone else in the school.
Given me the confidence that I need in order to grow as a professional.
It's very valuable to work with my peers. I learn so much through them, and we learn on top of each other. Empowering way I get to choose.
My views on professional learning has changed greatly this year. Many years ago when I started teaching, I felt like I went to a professional learning development once or twice a year. I struggled with having great professional learning. I didn't really take away much from it. This year I feel that I learned because so much more, because we actually have to utilize it. We have to do it, practice it, and utilize it, and talk and reflect about it.
Great. So as you can see, over the year, there has been a change to our culture. And then lastly, I'd like to share some of my learning with all of you. The first piece here is that it's important to address resistance. When the building leadership team came to us and said, we don't want to do instructional rounds, we could have said, well, we're doing it, and just forged ahead. But we didn't. It's important to listen to them, to really expose their core beliefs, and you can't change the culture if you don't bring that forward. It's the process, not the structure. I don't think it would have mattered if we had done peer observations instead, or whatever cultural change you're trying to make. It's what process you bring the teachers through. So are they collaborating? Is there a shared understanding? Is there time for reflection? Let the ownership be with the teachers. This is really hard to do at times. You feel the need to speak or to jump in, especially as the staff is looking to you for answers and solutions, but you can't be that person. It's a team effort, and we need to learn together. Actions speak to beliefs. I truly believe in professional learning, and I truly believe this is what will make the difference for our students. So I needed the staff to know that I felt that way. So, we had some bumps in the road. We came across tough times between not having any substitute teachers to cover classes so observations could happen, or snow days, SBAC testing. But we got creative, and we carved out that time at the cost of other things going on in the building. And I think the teachers really saw that this is learning and this is important, and we're working together on this. And then lastly, to take that balcony view. Periodically, as a leader, it's important to step back and observe and see what's happening in your school. Like I said before, it wasn't until I was speaking with a colleague that I realized that when teachers were asking for peer observations, this was a change. This was something that hadn't been happening in the school before, and the teachers were now, had a belief change at the root, and it had taken hold. Thank you so much for coming out today and being a great audience. Real quick, I have a mobile survey that I created. You can do it on your phone or iPad or laptop, on your address bar, on your web browser. You just need to type in su.vc/jmil. And there's a few questions there so that I can get some feedback on my presentation today, as well as on my learning and any suggestions you